it's hard. I get it. Like when we were, when prices were down, in 2018, the only thing I remember doing was just studying more. Like, okay, let's keep doing this. And I was just kind of surprised. How come nobody's around? How come there's nothing going on? Like, like it's just kind of like that, like not the ignorance, but a little bit of just being like, full steam ahead. Well, I was like, how come these other people aren't? I was kind of surprised me, but because it's so obvious to me that if you can make that much money during a bull market in this industry, like you got to be involved somehow, right? But so many people just went away.
I mean, they hate us because they hate us, like it's just is a lot of them just don't have the drive for it or something. And on top of that, like real hype driven. I mean, obviously we're all hype driven into
Right.
it to a certain portion of that, but like we saw the vision basically and said like, oh, this is this market going to go away? No,
Let's go.
let's go. Yeah. Like, what are we doing? Let's set up the dominoes this time. Cause like last time, right. I mean, I personally got into in like late 2016. Right. So I didn't catch the beginning of the whole wave. The wave kind of started in the last cycle, basically middle of 2015, basically with BTC slowly starting to kind of recover. And then I would really count it more of 2016. If I had gotten into the market in like January of 2016, I would have been able to take way more advantage of the multiples
of course.
I would have been able to make and stuff, because I was primarily only investing into cryptocurrencies for the least first 6 months, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, which those are pretty good dummy portfolio, right? But
yeah,
it was W's though. It was a W, huge W.
Well, that's what you need, right? Especially towards that period of time. Yeah, I think it's always funny to kind of reminisce and look back on all the mistakes that we've made, and yet, where we've gotten to. So that's kind of the thing. I think there was somebody, was there earlier in the chat? It wasn't it was not a super chat. Can't remember, but I think somebody asked like, I don't know, something about like, oh, how do you feel comfortable? Now I remember. Let me see if I can pick this one up. I think this was okay. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I was saving it, but okay,
it's a good question. It's a good question. Right. So when did you feel comfortable going full time at? Was it because of the course sales, or was it crypto? What's realistic timetable? Where I was going with this thought, right, is that you should get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I know how fucking gay that sounds, and like how cheesy, or everybody says shit like that, right? But what I would just say for this is like, I never felt comfortable going full time ever. Ever. Like
you almost never do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable where we're at now to some extent, but still not 100%, right? In terms of, I know I'm never going back to corporate, but at the same time, like I don't feel comfortable until we're taken care of for multiple lifetimes, to be honest, with how much inflation is going on and stuff. So that's one thing. But in terms of like probably what he means here, like, in terms of when I went full time in 2019, I got into crypto in May of 2017, right? I got heavy into crypto in September of 2017. And then I quit my job in September of 2018. So about a year and a half into it, which sounds like a very short period of time, but it seemed kind of like a long period of time. And I was like, yeah, I know crypto pretty well, and, jumped off that bandwagon. It cost me about $70,000 in future bonuses that I was going to get from my company over that 6 months. If I would stayed another 6 months, but I was like, fuck it. Let's go. We got to catch this bottom of the bull market. I thought the bull market, right, would be maybe like pretty quick. So once it started going, I was like, yeah, but like, yeah, it was, I was just like, I don't want to be late, don't want to be late to starting, business and my YouTube and all this stuff. Right. So, I always just had a fire under my ass for that. And in 2019, I guess what was the thing that I was able to do to stay afloat during 2019? Because it definitely wasn't the course, because we didn't come out with that until 2020. And it wasn't really sales of anything on YouTube. So it was all crypto, right? And it kind of was like,
because you were trading a lot more actively back then as well, if I remember correctly. Because we were talking to you were like moving a lot of stuff around back in the day.
Yeah. And they have ATMs here that you can connect your accounts to, which was nice. But essentially, it was kind of felt like treading water in 2019. because you'd make a profit, but then you'd spend it, right? So like one story that I always tell is I brought in 2018, I went from 10 Ethereum to 100 Ethereum, right? And then it spent like a lot of it. So it sucks. It is what it is. But you got to keep going, right? So I don't think you ever should feel comfortable. And there's just going to be different phases of how you feel comfortable, but for what, right? So like at the very beginning, you want to survive and then thrive, right? But once you thrive, you want to be able to do that throughout your lifetime. You don't want to just do it for 10 years and have to go back to the
you seriously have to have enough. Like I would recommend. I mean, even if you're making enough money from the portfolio, you got to have enough cash in the bank where you don't need to sell any of that cryptocurrency, basically.
And the one thing people don't realize is as you do climb the rungs, right, taxes still come at you.
Right. It's just it's quite a lot of stuff. Like I remember, like when was it? I mean, I basically didn't have to. I mean, it was this weird thing where my portfolio really started to appreciate quite a lot and stuff like that. I think I've told people the stories already of like how much Doge I used to have and how much mana and stuff, and like a lot. I used to have a lot of mana. Yeah. I had a lot of mana. I had a lot of mana and stuff. Shout out the Wearable Kings, but no, I had quite a lot of coins. I got into Hex early. I bought the Bitcoin bottom, Ethereum bottoms, and Litecoin bottoms, and I bought all this sort of power top, baby. But but no, I bought
taking names now. Busted cheeks, I should say.
They call me Splash Mountain. But what ended up what kind of ended up happening is like I spent damn near like 12 years, well, at the time like 10 years of my life building up my business. And I had employees and I had family members that worked for me, and I had a lot of stuff. So it was this whole thing where even if I wanted to go full time, I could not physically. I could not go full time. It wasn't gonna like, hey guys, sorry, I had to fire like 4 of my family members and like a bunch and like I think at the time I had like 5 employees. Just tell them, all right, sorry, you guys don't have a job later. Bye.
Go full time crypto, boys.
Full time crypto, baby. No responsibility.
Hard rug.
Hard rug. I was telling Charlie. Charlie was one of the few people I was telling that to privately and stuff. And just kind of like I was like I want to go full time, but I literally just cannot because I have these responsibilities. And like a lot of people know that I was even doing the crypto. I did the first 3 or 4 crypto mindset courses working full time.
Yep.
On top of that,
which is part of the reason why we had the time slots that we did. They continue to work out very well, but yeah,
they're like, so because I was my own boss, I had my workers go out there and stuff like that. And then, but I would still set up to make sure to show up a little bit before lunchtime in order to make sure that they didn't burn the fucking projects down to the ground. And then be able to, then stay there until about maybe 5 or 6 or 5:30 in the afternoon, then rush home from traffic, take a shower real quickly, get changed. And then like, hey, what's going on, you guys? Here for Crypto Mindset Q1. December of 2020. And then essentially stream for until about damn near midnight my time, and then wake up super early in the morning and do it all over. And it was just like not burning the candle at both ends. And then at some point it became like it was too much, basically, where like my business at the same time Crypto Mindset was expanding and my business was like doubling as well at the same time. So like crypto was going up, my business was going up, and Crypto Mindset was going like nothing but W's. But at some point you literally only have so many hours.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the guys a lot of the guys who were around in those original courses, I was drinking Bangs or Energies. I was having probably 5 a day, probably. Like, so I was having 2 monsters or 2 white monsters or 2 Red Bulls in the morning and the nighttime. And then on top of that, I'll be taking coffees that I'll be buying at 7-Eleven. Like I was on like, dude, I was on like 1,000, a jack to the tits, 1,000 plus milligrams of like caffeine a day plus until like, I told
a mild heart attack. No.
Actually, literally, I actually almost literally had a mild. I told Charlie like there's this, I forgot which webinar. I don't know. I think it was in Q2. I think I almost had a heart attack. And during live on a webinar.
Let's make sure that doesn't happen.
That was kind of, for me, that was my like, yo, Miguel, you need to choose a lane, basically. And so it ended up just restructuring a lot of my, I spent, like Charlie knows it, I spent an unbelievably large amount of time once the courses ended on, I think quarter two or quarter one, I think it was quarter two, restructuring it and passing the business along to like my brothers. And then I think I gave a couple of, maybe like 10% of the business to like one of the
Mm.
employees as well, just because he wanted to start his own stuff. And then just like, pass some stuff for him to get started as well,
Yeah, which is nice.
which is nice and stuff. So and then from there, it was just also, and then on top of that too, when you do go full time, you have one hell of a time figuring out your schedule.
Yep. And yeah, I'll let you finish up. There's another thing I was going to add on to that once you're done, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
it was it yeah, it's one hell of a time because like your life is very structured. Like my life was extremely structured
Yep.
for my entire life. I mean, from 18 to like 28, 29 years old, my day was structured. The minute the sun goes up, I'm outside. I'm putting tools in trucks. I'm getting my guys ready to go. I'm getting my breakfast, lunch, and all ready and stuff. And then we're on the road, and I've got schedules to keep up and stuff like that. So it's like from this time to this time slot, I'm stuck in a trap almost. Like that's how you feel like in a job, right? So you end up having this thing of like you're spending all day thinking about like, oh, I can't wait to go to the gym. Oh, I can't wait to go talk about crypto. I can't wait to stream. And you spend all day like mentally masturbating in your
Yep.
mind about like, oh my God, I can't wait to do this. And so when you go there, you have this maximum passion. But the minute that you do not have the structure and the person whipping the whip at your back, will you have the same level of passion? And a lot of people don't.
Yep. It's a
So
really
so
important question.
the
Well, and,
gym,
and I,
yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. I was just
The,
going to, yeah.
no, Sean, I'm talking. This is my channel now.
Well, it's always been your channel, yeah.
But just like one last point. So it's like some people are actually lying to themselves that they really want to do something full time. Actually, where like they just really want to fuck around really all day. That's what they really want to do.
I was
Versus,
actually going to say
yeah,
that. Yeah, you find out who is who, not right away, right? So I would say like, um, you do some, if you can get that time right to where you're like, hey, I'm going to go on vacation for a few weeks and stuff like this before you really get to the slog of it, fine, right? And then there's some people when they get out of the structure, right? They takes them time to find a new structure, fine, right? But you got to be consistent with what you're doing at least, right? You got to
right,
continue to, get through the hard parts, continue to move your feet, all that stuff, right? At least, and then once you hit your stride, good. Because not everybody's going to be like, super on the ball like right away after they,
right,
get done with their job and stuff. But the people who will not make it, right, going full time crypto is the people who rely on gains, rely on their bag, right? Because
right,
for me, that's what put the fire to my ass so much. I was like, I want to stop spending crypto.
yeah,
I want to build up the business to be viable, but I could not do it when I was full time corporate. Right, it's impossible.
right,
So it's like chicken and the egg, right? What should come first, right? And it's like
right,
security, or starting it, and it's just like you just got to get going, right? And so like the uh there's some people who are like at the end, towards the end of a bull market, they'll quit, and then they'll like through the bear market, like for like a long time, a few years, right? They'll go through their whole bag, and then they'll have nothing in the next bull market. And it's like, what's the point of that? Like that is wild to me. Like
some of your
you
favorite
cannot do
YouTubers,
that.
you guys, are like
Damn.
should be giga rich and are just like over here slinging fucking shit coins, like
Yeah.
paid shills and stuff. And like that's something I'm very proud that me and Charlie were like we never
Yeah.
had to do that ever, ever,